Chapter 1. Coke on the Rocks. Back when I used to drink more than I do today, I loved beer and whiskey. Something about Jack Daniels, with its south of the Mason-Dixon line bottle and classic black and white label, made me feel nostalgic. I think it was a false sense of Southern pride, as though drinking Jack somehow supported an argument that our side actually won the Civil War. On the other hand, beer screamed masculinity. It told the world that I was from humble roots, that I was lower than the rich folks who drank martinis and gin, and proud not to be one of them. The catch is that I was never really a big drinker. Sure, I tried to party hard, tried to be a rebel, but it just didn't take. I was too soft, too polished, too nice and caring. I didn't want to get plastered and say rude things to people, and I never got drunk enough to think I could beat up guys 3 times my size. Still, like the little engine that could, I would be at a party 3 to 4 nights a week, beer, whiskey in hand, toasting to Lord only knows what. But there were also times when I would go through spiritual peaks, times when I'd be riding Jesus highs and want to display my love for God's Son by no longer drinking. During these fleeting spurts of religiosity, there was nothing I'd love more than hanging out at a party or bar without a beer or whiskey in hand. I wanted everyone to ask me why I wasn't drinking so I could answer in an oh-so-condescending way, because I'm a Christian. It took me years to realize that I wasn't abstaining from drinking because I desperately wanted to please God. Instead, I desperately wanted for people to say, Austin's a good Christian. In other words, for the first quarter century of my life, I went through the motions of religiosity in hopes that people would think me a good guy. And what I'm ashamed to admit is that I was foolish enough to think this made any difference to God. I still frequently find myself in places where alcohol is being served, and I remember how I used to think of them as battlefields where I could make heroic Christian stands. In days past, when I'd make a show of not drinking, I'd sometimes hold a glass of water in my hand, raising it every few seconds to my lips just so everyone could see that I was only drinking water. Now, on nights when I don't feel like having a drink, I'll order a Coke instead of water, but I'll ask for it to be served in a highball glass, on the rocks. The one remarkable truth about Christianity is that it's all a matter of the heart. You can avoid curse words your whole life, bake brownies every day for bake sales, lead prayer meetings at your house, never touch alcohol, never have premarital sex, and still, if it isn't because you really believe that Jesus is still alive and you love him for it, you're wasting your time. That's the beauty of the Christian religion and also the rub. Only each individual can determine whether he's committed, abstaining, practicing, etc. for the real reason. In days past, my ultimate faith high would come from hearing that someone thought I was a good Christian. This would excite me for a few seconds, but then I'd feel as if I needed to hear it from someone else. Because in truth, what I really needed was to prove to myself that I was a good Christian. What I finally discovered is very simple. The opinions of others don't satisfy my faith. Instead, it is my assurance that I know Jesus that gives me the peace I crave. Trust me, I still love to discuss faith. But these days I'm determined not to flaunt it, because the moment I do, my faith becomes a crutch, a social club, a membership I maintain in